Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to discuss this topic as this thought has been going on for a while, and I will tell you why I wanted to discuss this topic. I have seen that lately there are a lot of immigrants coming to Canada, and yeah, that's a great thing. Like, we want more immigrants to make sure that the social service system keeps running here, and you need labor to basically do work. And yeah, that's really good thing that there are a lot of immigrants coming in to Canada. And especially there are a lot of immigrants, like if I look at it, there are like 35% of the immigrants coming from South Asia, majority of them being from India. And the reason majority of them are from India is because India has English as its first language. People are educated and qualified, and people are aspirational as well. And that's one of the main reasons why majority of the immigrants are from India. Now, having said that, the reason I wanted to discuss this topic is I know how life in India is, right? I mean, most of the immigrants who are coming to Canada are doing pretty well in India. They are having good salaries. They are having a good standard of living. Like, when I say standard of living, is they at least have decent salary. They're able to, like, when I say decent salary, I really mean a very good salary. Most of the immigrants have apartments over there, and people are leading a decent life. However, people do want to immigrate to Canada because of work life balance, because of lesser pollution, and they want to give better life for kids. So these are really great things. And economic immigrants are really good. And these are people who have no criminal background, who will really work hard and contribute to Canada. However, things have changed a lot over here. Things have changed a lot from 2013 to 2018, and within 5 years, someone it's important that immigrants really understand this. They really understand what they are getting into before they make a leap to come to Canada. The important thing over here is, it's not whether Canada is good or bad. It's really depends on individual circumstances, and one needs to really compare his life in in his home country, and basically look at the situation in Canada, and basically see if he or she is going to be really better off. Now, this equation is different for different people. So it is important that a person really assesses the situation, looks at his occupation, and tries to find out what are the salaries, what kind of life he or she can lead over here, and they then make an informed choice about Canada. So that's why I try to create this video, so that I can exactly explain what is happening in Canada right now, and what that means for an immigrant over here, right? So, and coming back to the express entry admissions, what we have seen over here is, from 2014 to 2017, the number of express entry admissions has literally doubled, and it has literally tripled, and almost like it has increased by 600% over, if I look at an cumulative basis from 2014 to 2017. So obviously there are a lot of immigrants. There is a lot of competition over here. So immigrants who are coming now need to be really prepared, because there are so many immigrants coming in. Even people who are here for like 8 years, 10 years, definitely face a very stiff competition from new immigrants, from existing immigrants, and also there is a lot of wage pressure. So, for example, if the salary, there are a lot of people who can do the same kind of job. So why would someone pay you more salary than what the market is paying? Or like, probably, when I say market is paying, the market salaries automatically come down. It's the law of economics, like supply versus demand equation. So when the market salary starts coming down, there is no room for negotiation. It's almost like take it or leave it. There are so many immigrants coming in who don't have jobs and are highly qualified, and they are looking for jobs. And for them, it's only about getting a job. They most of the times they try to compromise on the salary. And this is definitely going to be the case going forward, because there are going to be more and more immigrants coming in. If I look at the express entry score, the express entry score has gone down as well. obviously, there are like only so many people who can have high express entry scores. When you start inviting more number of people based on ranks, it's it's by it's definitely going to go down. So yeah, you are going to have sometimes people, for example, if you are not qualified enough and you are still being invited to work in Canada. And I'm really sorry, I did not mean that you're less qualified or something. Like, for example, you can be from a mediocre institute, you could be doing decent enough in India, and you want to come to Canada. And it's quite possible that the competition you face much might be like much more, because there are so many, I mean, there are very little jobs over here. And yes, a lot of people face problems in getting jobs, and we only see number of people coming into Canada. There are so many people who go back to their home countries after 2 months, after 3 months, because they're not doing really well in Canada, or they're not happy with their life here, right? Because obviously someone coming from, for example, let's say India, has maids, has servants back home, has a decent job, comes to Canada, all of a sudden finds that he or she has to do all the household work. you know Getting jobs is not easy, finding a daycare is not easy, daycare for a child is very expensive. So there are so many challenges which someone does not people don't even anticipate, or they don't even know that there are problems like these over here. So when people face reality, they feel that they want to go back to their home country, because they feel that the life in the home country was much better. Now I'm coming to the main point over here, and why this is basically housing. Housing is the most important thing when you move to a new country, right? Eventually, you might have a house in India, you might have a house in anywhere in the world, and when you come to Canada, you have to firstly go on rent. Then you eventually want to buy your own house, right? And this is where you know things have become really different, because immigrants who came in 20 to 2009, 2012, 11, could buy houses at a reasonable price, that is like 4 to 5 times their annual income. Right now, the situation has changed. The housing prices, let's say, for example, even a semi detached house in Mississauga is at least 7 to 8 times your annual income. And now I'm just taking Mississauga as a reference. The percentage appreciation in the housing market is 56% in 5 years. So we are looking at over 10% annualized increase in housing prices. Uh, the down payment required, if I consider 20% down payment, it has gone up by almost 56%. Now, for a new immigrant to accumulate this much down payment, uh, let's say you want to buy a house at 5% too, your mortgage is going to be really high. It's going to be very challenging to get qualified for the same. So it's a double-edged sword. So either you basically get more down payment, or even then it's going to be challenging to qualify for a mortgage. The mortgage amount required is again increased by 56%. Now, the other thing which is happening is interest rates. Interest rates are going up. They have approximately gone by 25 to 30% in 5 years. So from 2.99 to 3.79, which is the current mortgage rate. The monthly mortgage, it has gone up by almost 72%. So if you were paying $1,500 for a house, now you will be paying $2,700 for the same house. Now this is where it starts pinching really hard. 72% is literally almost making double the mortgage payment in 5 years. This is what the new immigrants are facing. No one is able to afford a house here. Now, having said that, if you are not able to afford a house, are you like safe over here? No. You are still going to be renting a house. Now, what happens to the rent? All the landlords who face increased mortgage payments are going to pass on that to the tenants. And a result of that is that the rental prices have increased by the same amount. A, a 1,500 rental in Mississauga is now costing like 2,000 to 2,100, which is almost like 30 to 40% increase straight away. The interest rate qualification, now this is called stress testing. Now, what Canada introduced last year was something called as stress testing, in which you need to qualify for the mortgage not on the mortgage rate, but on the prevailing rate plus 2%. So basically, government wants to make sure that if whether you can pay the mortgage at your existing rate plus 2%. So that is like literally the qualification rate has jumped up by 93.65%, which means that your income required has jumped by almost the same percentage, which is like 92% for 30-year amortization and 87% for, you know, almost 25-year amortization. Has your income really doubled? No. Income has literally remained the same or probably increased by 5%. I will explain in further slides what I mean exactly. So your monthly mortgage based on 30 years, you know, stressed as I mean, leave this apart. This is just for calculating your, you know, annual income and savings. This was required for calculating the income. So, you know, you can clearly see over here, like 147K versus 76K. So a person who came in 2013 was and making little lesser money, or not little, like literally, I would say like much lesser money, was in a better state than immigrants who are coming now. This is what actually, you know, creates two classes of immigrants who came, let's say, before 2014, and immigrants who came after that. There is a distinct class over here. The people who came before that, you know, are in a much better financial state over here. They have decent jobs. They have, you know, homes which were purchased at decent prices. They can still, you know, look at the retirement and plan something. For immigrants who are coming now, forget like retirement and home ownership. I'm sorry to say over here, but the situation really looks bad over here. Now, coming to the mortgage qualifications, right? Like, you know, as I told, the annual income required is literally, uh, you know, double. Now, this is basically annual savings after housing in 2013 versus 2018. Now, I have assumed that there is an increase of 30% from 2013 to 2018, you know, in your annual salary. I have assumed it to be 100K, and in 2018, I have assumed it to be 127K. This is basically if you, you know, even if you have like 127K, right? I'm just having a benchmark over here just to have the percentage value. So let's assume that your salary went up by 27%, and you know, on net income level your salary went up by 18%, 18 or 20% over 5 years. Now mortgage as a percentage of income on a 30-year amortization has gone up by 62%, which means that your savings has gone down by 25%. So if you were saving $100 in 2013, with an increased income also you're going to be saving only $75. With this $25 is really important. This is what is your vacation, this is what is your RRSP, this is what is your, you know, additional expenses. Now you cannot afford any of these things, right? So there is definitely going to be a difference in the class. You are going to see immigrants who are going on vacation versus, you know, I have seen people who come recently not even able to go to their home country for a long time, because after your home, your car, your all the expenses, you are left with hardly left with any money. Now you need to question yourself and ask whether your situation back home is exactly the same from monetary perspective, right? Whether you have to think twice to go on a vacation, whether you have to think twice to basically even purchase a house. So this is something you need to evaluate and take a call based on your profession, based on your occupation, whether you can basically survive in this market, which has changed from 2013 to 2018, right? Please leave your, you know, thoughts and comments, and you know, please share it with your friends who want to immigrate to Canada. And you know, I will basically keep posting more videos as and when I have more information. Thanks.